Hi, this is Reverend Joanna Bartlett, and I want to tell you a bit about how I began using the grief recovery method and the difference that it's made in my life. So I came to the grief recovery method for a couple of reasons. One is that I had been working with clients in my spiritual development work that I do who were really stuck in grief, and I found that I was essentially providing grief counseling to them, and I wanted more resources to do that. I wanted to be able to help them more than I felt like I was really being able to help them move through the grief. We were making progress, and I also felt like there must be more out there, more than just being a compassionate listener and creating safe and sacred space for them to feel how they're feeling. And as soon as I began reading the Grief Recovery Handbook, I realized that I really needed it myself, because I have been through a lot of grief and loss and trauma in my own life. I've had a lot of difficult experiences, have a lot of unresolved relationships and emotions that I had been working with. I'd been actually working with and working on, and also kept feeling stuck in really being able to move through some of these experiences and some of the grief that I have or had in a effective way, essentially. And so I began working with the Grief Recovery Handbook for myself. I started doing the work by myself, for myself, and then became a certified grief recovery specialist. It's hard to describe tangibly the difference that doing this work has made in my own life. But the words I guess I would use to describe how I feel now compared to how I felt before I started using the grief recovery method in my own relationships is I feel lighter, I feel freer, I feel like I have more internal space, especially with difficult relationships. So I've been using this method to work through a whole bunch of relationships in my life, starting with my mom and my dad, my first ex-husband, my second ex-husband, my siblings. You know, some of these people are alive and some are in spirit. They're dead. They're not alive anymore. But we still have had unfinished business in our relationship. And I have just felt so much more freedom and so much more aliveness within me, so much more space. Whereas perhaps what I would think about a relationship with my dad, for instance, and I would feel a lot of complicated feelings, difficult, unresolved feelings I didn't know what to do with. The grief of not having had the experience that I wanted to have with a father. All this stuff, you know, all jumbled up inside me and packed away and just, heavy and dense and not feeling good. And I've gone from that feeling to just being able to breathe around it and finding that it has actually helped to shift my current relationships. And that is wonderful, to just have a different energy there, to have much more openness within myself, to have let go of stuff that I didn't really need to be holding on to anymore, has just been a really wonderful experience. And that's a benefit that I get to take with me throughout the rest of my life now, and into all the other relationships that I have, because I'm freer inside. I have more space, more spaciousness inside me. And so that's why I'm sharing this method with people. And this is why I'm doing this work now, is because I realize how well it works. And I've seen it with the clients that I have worked with, that it shifts relationships that they have and the way that they feel about those relationships, and gives them more freedom in their life. And that is just a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful blessing. If this sounds interesting to you, you can click on a link in the description of this video, or you can see more information on the webpage below, if this is on one of my web pages, to learn more about the grief recovery method and how you can work with me. You can also schedule a free discovery call with me. We'll talk for like 15 or 20 minutes to see if this feels like a right fit for you, and if it feels like it's the right time in your life right now to be doing this work, if you're ready to be doing this work and to move forward. and move through grief. So I would love to connect with you about doing this work together, and if that feels good to you. And so I look forward to helping you move beyond the pain of your loss.